Hi there, grade. Here's day 9 for our review packet for at-home learning. So let's get started with our reading. Oh, first, let me share the screen with you. So this is the notebook, and this says day 9 reading, and we'll start. So in your packet, you should have gotten the ReadWorks assignment that says, let's write a poem. So before you even answer the questions, you're gonna read the different poems that they have. So I'll start. And you can follow along. Let's write a poem. Poets write poems. Poetry is a kind of writing. Some poems rhyme and some do not. A poem can be about a feeling, an object, or even an event. It can be funny, serious, or sad. How would you describe these poems? Nikki Giovanni has won many awards for her writing. This poem is from her book, The Sun is So Quiet. How does this poem make you feel? This covers. Glass covers windows to keep the cold away. Clouds cover the sky to make a rainy day. Nighttime covers all the things that creep. Blankets cover me when I'm asleep. Another one, Ken Nesbitt has a dog, 2 cats, a mouse, a goldfish. He has written lots of poems about kids. What is this poem about? So this one is called Amanda Ate Orange. Amanda ate an orange and an olive and a peach. Since then, her teacher always keeps the crayons out of reach. So the next one is by Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes was raised by his grandmother. He always loved to write. Some of his poems rhyme and some do not. Does this poem rhyme? Let the rain kiss you. Let the rain beat upon your head with silver liquid drops. Let the rain sing you a lullaby. The rain makes still pools on the sidewalk. The rain makes running pools in the gutter. The rain plays a little sleep song on our roof at night, and I love the rain. So on the next page, this poem is by Christina Rossetti. Began writing poetry when she was young. She did not go to school. Her mother taught her at home. What is she describing in this poem? White sheep on a hill, on a blue hill. When the wind stops, you all stand still. When the wind blows, you walk away slow. White sheep, where did you go? So the next poet is Jack Perluxy. Hopefully I said his name right. Well, he disliked poetry when he was young. Then he discovered it was a great way to talk to people. Why might this poem be called a shape poem? So let's see. I was walking in the circle. I was walking in the circle when I spied a piece of paper covered with a pretty picture colored yellow and green. Green, red, and green. Let me start over. It's all this upside down circle poem is giving me a hard time, but I'm gonna do it again. So I'll start. I was walking in a circle when I spied a piece of paper covered with a pretty picture colored yellow, green, and red. As I picked it up, I noticed that it also had some writing, and I knew that I should read it. This was what the writing said. So as you can see, even from Ms. Bob, it was really hard to read. I had to go all the way around in the circle. So hopefully those poems were fun for you guys to read and you enjoyed them. But now we're gonna get into the questions about the poems. So for the first question in the graphic organizer, it says it's going to be covering the first poem, and that's Covers. It says, how does the poem Covers by Nikki Giovanni make you feel? Provide evidence from the poem. So this question for me was very difficult, not difficult, but just hard for me because I know that different things make people feel different. Each person may feel a different way about this, but for me, when I went back into the text, When I went back into the text, and remember, that's what we have to do when we're trying to find evidence. I went back into the text to show evidence of how I felt the poem made me feel. So while reading it, I felt like the poem made me feel sleepy and relaxed. Sleepy and relaxed. I just really felt like that. So I went back and I can actually highlight what made me feel sleepy and relax. So with my highlighter, I said the blankets color me when I'm asleep. Another part that was the evidence for me was nighttime covers all things that creep. So if you think about it, if you're going to sleep, if the nighttime covers all the things that creep, like that means all the things that go bump in the night or the things that you may think are scared, that make you scared, it's all covered away. So for me, that felt like a sleepy and relaxed. Also, clouds, a rainy day. For me, a rainy day, guys, I want to be in my bed with the windows shut, like it said, and keeping the cold away, bundled up in my blankets. So those are the things that made evidence for me. So let's go back to the organizer. I wrote, the poem makes me feel sleepy and relaxed. The poem talks about a cold, cloudy, rainy day and how a blanket covers them when sleeping. Even the night covers the things that creep which may scare me. So I'm thinking like the things that may scare me. So this is how I felt. But notice that I use more than one sentence. I use one sentence to describe how I felt, and then the next sentences were my evidence. So make sure when they're asking you to provide your evidence, that your first sentence will answer the question, and then your second or a couple of sentences may explain or provide the evidence. So we're going to move on to the next one. It says, what is the poem Amanda Ate an Orange by Ken Nesbitt about? Provide evidence from the poem. Again, we have to go back to the text. But I'm going to just say, I really like this poem. It was funny to me. So it says, so for me, I said, this poem is about Amanda who eats her food because the teacher kept the crayons she likes out of reach. So I just thought it was funny. But to go back, I will highlight my evidence that I found for that on that particular poem back on our reworks assignment page. So it's always good when you guys are getting the reworks assignments to make sure you are able to have a highlighter or just a pencil if you don't have a highlighter to underline important information. So even in a poem, you can find important information. So after they asked me the question, I actually went and it says Amanda ate an orange and an olive and a peach. Oh, this is what made me realize why it was so important that she ate food, because usually she probably would have eaten crayons, which is not good. So the next poem was from Langston Hughes, and also the next question is from Langston Hughes. Scroll down. It says, does the poem April Rain Song by Langston Hughes Brown provide evidence? Uh-oh, I do this in class too, guys, sorry. So I said the April Rain Song does not rhyme because there is not a rhyme pattern in the poem. The ending of each line sounds different. So if I go back and I want to check and make sure I was right about the ending of the line sounding different, I can go back into my text and double check just to make sure. You, drops, lullaby, sidewalk, gutter, night, rain. They all end differently, so they do not rhyme. Now, the next question says, question number 3, asks, what is the author Christina Rossetti describing in clouds? Provide evidence of the poem. Now, just reading the title, you can guess that she's actually describing clouds. But even while looking through the poem, I noticed key words that let me know that it was a cloud. Rossetti describing the shapes of sheep she sees when looking up at clouds. Because she says, white sheep on a blue hill. Well, white sheeps don't live on blue hills. They actually might be on a green hill. So blue hill is referring to the sky. And white sheep is basically how the cloud looks in the sky. And then also, let me go back to the text so you guys can see. Go back. So right here, it says, when the wind blows, the sheep stand still. And when the wind, when the wind stops, you will all stand still. When the wind blows, you walk away slowly. So it's actually talking about how the clouds move slowly and then may stop when the wind stops. So, and then also when it disappears, sometimes the clouds you look at the sky changes. So I really enjoyed reading this poem as well. So for our last poem, it was by Jack Perluxy, and you saw how I struggled reading the poem, but it was fun to read, to like go back over and try to make sure that I was reading it correctly. But I was in a circle, and the question was, why might this poem be called a shape poem? Why might this poem be called a shape poem? Now, if you look just at the poem, the poem is written in the shape of a circle, and it describes an object. So the poem is written in the shape of a circle and describes an object. So what object does it describe? It describes the piece of paper. Let me get back down so you guys can see it. It describes the piece of paper, and also it's written in a circle. Basically, it's talking about how he was walking. I was walking in a circle, and this is what I found, the piece of paper with a pretty, picture colored. It showed everything, but it was written in a circle. So that was really cool, and I really enjoyed reading that poem as well. So that should be all for the reading portion. Now we're about to move on to the writing portion. Now with the writing portion, we actually got to create our own shape poem. So I can't wait to see some of my students post or just pictures of things that they created with that poem, because it sounded so cool that even I decided to make one. So we're going to go to writing. It says, shape poems describe an object and are written in a shape. Try with an object in your house. So this one is called Rainbow. And actually this one is written, it's in the shape of a rainbow, and every color is a different color. I really like this one. And also this one is an ice cream. It says, ice cream is fun to eat, rich taste enjoyed by many. So that is awesome. So now I did my own. Now guys, it might not be perfect, but don't think about it. Don't worry about it being perfect. Just try your best. And that's what I did. So it's called Basket by Miss Bobbitt. Basket, you hold great things like green grass, candy, and gifts from the Easter Bunny. So it can be simple as one sentence, or it could be more than one sentence, but I really had fun with this. I'm proud of my poem called Basket. So hope you guys enjoy that. So that's it for the reading and writing portion. I really want to see you guys take your time. Just pick an object that you really admire. Do not rush with this. Like, just really have fun. Like, take an object that you like and make a cool poem about it. And poem doesn't have to rhyme. My poem didn't rhyme. And it could rhyme. So if you make a rhyme as well, that's awesome. But it doesn't have to rhyme. So don't worry about that. Just write how you feel, or write how the object makes you feel. So this was really fun for me, and I enjoyed it. So I hope you guys did too. Now we're gonna move on to the math portion in the packet. Math, you guys see it? All right, so it says, how many more votes did William H. Crawford receive than John Q. Adams? John Q. Adams had 3,419 and William had 8,558. So the first thing we need to do when we're looking at a word problem, we need to highlight important information. So we need to highlight, I'm going to repeat, important information. Sometimes if we do not highlight important information, we might speed through and do the wrong operation. Operation meaning math, meaning multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. So those are the operations that we possibly would be using with the word problem, or even estimation. So It says, how many more votes did William H. Crawford receive than John Q. Adams? John Q. Adams had 3,419 and William had 8,558. So I'm gonna highlight the important information. 3,000, yep, that's important. Yeah, that's important too. Those, well, how much William and John had. And then the question, how many more votes? Now with this question, how many more votes, it really is talking about the difference between 3,419 and 8,558. So if we're talking about the difference, keyword difference between those two numbers, when they're saying how many more, we're comparing those two numbers. I always say that when we compare two numbers, that we're most likely are trying to find the difference, and finding the difference means that we are finding subtraction. I thought I had it written down, but I think it's on the other, but we're using subtraction. So we're gonna do our problem in two different ways. So with a subtraction problem, you can actually have a place value chart. So you'll create a place value chart, thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. I just want to make it a little, yeah. Okay, so that's gonna be our chart. Let me go up. All right, so when we're doing subtraction with our place value chart, we do not draw a picture. We do not draw a picture for the smaller number. We do not draw a picture for the smaller number, because if we draw a picture from the smaller number, we're not going to be able to take a number. We're not going to be able to take 8,558 from the smaller number. So I'm just going to put a circle on this so I can remember not to draw the picture of that. I'm going to use these pictures I made for me to create. So I'm going to start at the thousands place, and I'm going to put 8 triangles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for William, because he had the bigger number. He had 500. He had 500s. So I'm gonna put 500s. Oh. If it moves for me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm also going to put 5 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, when we do our sticks, we do not do it cross like we're drawing tallies. So they can be separated like that. That's fine. And I'm going to draw 8 dots. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. So now that it's done, I'm going to begin taking away the number. I'm going to begin taking away the number I circle, and that's 3,419. But I'm going to start at my ones place. I repeat, make sure you start at your ones place when you start taking away. I'm going to use a red marker. Make it a little bit thicker, and I'm going to cross them out. I'm looking, and I can't cross out 9. Because I cannot take away 9 from 8, I will have to take a 10. So I'm going to circle this 10, and I'm going to bring it over here. When I bring that over here, it turns into 10 dots. So I'm going to add 10 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So remember, the reason we're doing that is because in the tens place, that means that one stick, that 1 10 has 10 ones. So I add 10 ones to my ones place. Then I'm going to cross them out. Now I'll be able to cross out 9 dots. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9. So I crossed out 9, and let's count to see how many I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I should have 9 dots left. So I'm going to type in the number 9 right here so I know what that is. So I'm gonna put 9 right here. The next thing I'm gonna take away, I'm gonna try to take away 1 from the 3,419 in the tens place, from the number that's left. And as you notice, there's 4 sticks left. So I'll only need to take away 1. So when I take away 1 from 4, it makes it have 3 left. So 3 are left. And with the 4, now I'm going to move on to the hundreds place. Sorry. So I'm going to move on to the hundreds place. And in the hundreds place, there's 4. So I need to take away 4 boxes or 4 hundreds out of my hundreds place. I'm able to do that because there are 5. So that means there are more than 4. So I can do that easily. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I took that away and I have only 1 left. Now, for my 8, I have 8 triangles, 8 thousands, and I'm going to take away 3 thousands for John Q. Adams. So I'm only going to take away 3. Let me use my pen again. 1, 2, 3. When I count them, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. Sorry, I'm trying to move this up so you guys can see it. 5 left. So my answer would be 5,139. So that will be the answer. Now, you can do this another way. And some people like doing this way better. I like this way so I can see my pictures, but I'm going to show you another way that we can do it. Remember, we're paying attention only to the numbers. We know that we already have to do subtraction because of what it says up here, how many more votes did. So that tells me that we are comparing. So remember, we're looking for the difference, so we need to subtract. So when I subtract, can I subtract 8 from 9? No, I cannot subtract 8 from 9. So I'm gonna cross it out. I'm gonna cross the tens place out, the 5, and it's gonna turn into a 4. I'm gonna move it up here. It's gonna turn into a 4, and this one is gonna turn into 18. So this will be 18 minus 9. 18 minus 9 is 18 minus 9 is 9. 4 minus 1 is going to be 3. 5 minus 4 is 1. Oops, put it wrong. And 8 minus 3 is 5. So That is our answer, 5,139. And that's just doing regrouping. Now, to double check our answer, you can also do get your whatever you got for the subtraction problem, you put that on the top, and then you add the smaller number on the bottom to see if you get 8,558. So if we add this together and get 8,558, then we know that we did it right. So let's do it. 9 plus 9 is 18. So I'm going to put 8 at the bottom. If it won't move, I got to move it. Ugh, dang it. Sorry. 8 at the bottom, and then 1 will go at the top. We cannot put 18 at the bottom of that because the ones place only can have 10 or only can have 9 or less. It cannot have 10 or more in there. So we put the 1 on the tens place, and then we add these 3 numbers. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. Now 1 plus 4 is 5. So we're good on that one. We don't have to do any regrouping and then 5 plus 3 would be 8. So we did it right. So that's good. Hopefully you guys got this answer. And if you didn't, you'll realize what you did wrong. And it's okay to be wrong as long as you figure out your mistakes. So that's it for math. We're gonna move on to science. So for science today, we had a fun experiment. We did what solids can dissolve in water. So you will be able to plan an experiment with an adult in your household, and you guys can have 3 cups. So I only did 1 cup because I couldn't find 3 clear cups, but I did 1 cup. Hold on. Stop the share real quick. I'm sorry. All right, guys. So I just went to go get some more supplies for the science project. So now we're going to go back to our screen, our smart notebook. And we're going to go back to where it says what solids can dissolve in water. So we're looking at different solids. So the solids that I chose were salt, sugar, and pepper. Those are the things that I chose. So it says have 3 cups, but I didn't have 3 cups. So I'm going to do 1 cup and then dump my extra water into this bowl and do another one. So for the first one, I made a chart just because it would be easy for me to remember what happened before I write down my observations. So before I start with my experiment, I'm going to predict. So I predict that salt will dissolve. Yes. I'm going to put a letter Y because that's how my chart is. Pepper, I'm going to say no, pepper won't. And then sugar, I'm going to say yes. So I did my predictions. Now I'm going to do my experiment. So let's start with the salt. I'm going to add the water. Do the salt. Now stir. So when I'm looking down, and as you can see, you cannot see the salt. The salt breaks down and becomes really, really small so that it is completely, if I stir more and more, it's completely dissolved in the water. Now the salt did not go away. If I was to drink this, I would still be able to taste it. It just broke down into tiny, smaller pieces that we can't see. So I was correct with that first prediction. So on that, I'm going to write, yes, it did put Y for yes. So let's move on to the next one, and that is pepper. Put some water, and I add some pepper. Ooh, hopefully I won't sneeze, y'all. Okay, so I added some pepper. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. So as I stir, I keep stirring, I keep stirring, stirring. If you noticed as I stirred with the salt, it kind of like gradually but surely dissolved. As I'm stirring with this pepper, this water looks dirty and it's not. The pepper is not dissolving. So I was correct with my first prediction. So I'm gonna put the letter N for no, it did not dissolve. The next one and the last one that I'm gonna do is sugar. Oh, I added salt again. Lord. Add some sugar. Fix that up. Put some water, rinse this cup out and fix it up. All right, now I got it together. All right, now we're gonna add sugar in this one. Oh, that's a lot of sugar. Okay, so let's stir, let me stir. Stir, stir. Now, with sugar, it is not dissolving as much as the salt. The salt was very easy to dissolve. This sugar is taking longer, if I notice. But that's an observation that I'm noticing. So I'm trying to stir really, really fast, so maybe it will go. And just like the salt, it did dissolve. So I'm gonna put yes. So I just happen to have my predictions correct with my with the observations, but that might not always be true. So remember, we're gonna write down our observations in complete sentences. So I'm gonna have 3 sentences because I tested 3 solids. I tested salt, pepper, and sugar. So for my first sentence, it says, when I put the salt in the cup of water, it what? What happened? Did it dissolve or did it not? And I can go back and look up at my chart, go back. Oh yeah, the salt dissolved. So I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna say, it dissolved in the water. When I put the pepper in the cup of water, it did not dissolve. Make sure I spell it right too. And when I put the sugar in the cup of water, it did dissolve. Period, period. I like saying it did dissolve. Better. Already know. So these are 3 simple sentences that you can have for your observations. So it depends on what you use. So it's other stuff that you can use. There are a list. Please follow these steps above. The examples you can use, you could have used sugar, salt, oatmeal, crushed chalk, sand, glitter, rice, flour, or sprinkles. So I just chose my 3 items. It doesn't have to be on this sheet, but it also can be anything else that's a solid. It has to be a solid. So make sure you guys have more cups. Other than that, I feel like the experiment was fun. It's going to be fun to do and have great observations. I hope you guys enjoyed the review for today. I'm actually going to be here tomorrow for your review for Friday. So I hope you guys have a great day.